Okay, writers, this is session 15. This is our last lesson of investigative journalism. We'll soon be taking our on demand, so make sure you know how to write all three parts of this nonfiction piece. Um, Today, we're going to be talking about crafting endings that call readers into action. This seems to be the part that everyone, the next steps that people really struggle with. Um, Today, I want to teach you that journalists use the ending of a piece to drive home a bigger truth for readers, often by making an explicit plea for change with the hope that readers will transition from simply reading about an issue to taking action on an issue. Okay, so after I've written my narrative portion of my story, and then I brought the social issue to light, and then I'm given that background information, the statistics, the data, the surveys, the quotes from experts. Now I'm going to ask myself some questions. What do I want my readers to do with this information, with all of the facts in my piece, as well as the bigger message that I hope to convey? So I was thinking of the story about the boy who was saving the parking spot for the little old lady who was having trouble in the crowded parking lot parking her car. And I was trying to think of what do I want my readers to take from this story. Um, what I was really thinking about is that teenagers do positive things all the time, and I really want my readers to kind of change the way and they look at the world and the way that they look at teenagers. I feel like with teenagers, a lot of people focus on the negative as opposed to focusing on all the positive things that um, teenagers are doing. So I thought about I thought about how I could write an ending that would really kind of highlight a positive note about teenagers and really kind of argue that teenagers are making a positive impact on the world. So this is what I wrote. Teenagers, like most people, are mostly good, and yet they're often misunderstood. Next time you see a teenager, keep your mind open and your heart. Look for what teenagers are doing that is good. How many times does a young person offer his or her seat on the bus or bend down to retrieve a dropped item for someone? These small acts of kindness matter. Maybe you'll even offer one in return. Maybe you'll take the time and say, I noticed what you just did, and good for you. Many adults could learn from watching you. Then tell others what you saw. Hey, I know people often think teens equal trouble, but you know what I just saw today? Take notice of the good, compliment the positive. Spread the word about what teenagers are really like, and it'll go a long way toward making the world a better place. Now, I know I've kind of gotten on you about starting your paper with opinions and that you're supposed to be objective. But at the end of this, you do kind of get into an argument mode when you are setting, you're talking about next steps. That what kind of impact should this information that you've presented make? So I told a lot of you to use words like when we were talking about bullying, like perhaps people need to stand up to bullies. Um, these are these are all ways to kind of just wrap up next steps of what you want. What's the bigger picture you want people to take away from your investigative journalism report? So go ahead and you're working on a piece right now. Write a really good ending that wraps it up and talks about next steps and how important the information you just presented was. And I look forward to reading your writing.